What is the ultimate German muscle car? Is it the new BMW M5 CS, the Mercedes AMG GT 4-door, the Audi RS6 or the Porsche Panamera Turbo S e-hybrid Sport Turismo? Well, to find out, I am going to take these cars for a drive. I'm going to hoon them around like a complete and utter maniac. And of course, I'm going to launch them and time them from 0 to 60 and over the standing quarter mile to see which is the quickest. I'm Matt Watson, and you're most certainly watching CarWow.
Buying a new car? Then head to CarWow and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. CarWow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
Let's start this video by comparing the car's engines because really that's what they're all about. The Audi RS6 has a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 with 600 horsepower and 800 newton meters of torque. But believe it or not, it's actually the least powerful car here. The next most powerful car is the BMW M5 CS. It has a 4.4-litre twin-turbo V8. Now, if you have the normal M5, that has 600 horsepower. The competition version has 625 horsepower, but this CS, extra 10 horsepower, 635 horsepower, and 750 newton meters of torque. Next we come to this AMG. It's a bit more powerful than the BMW, so its 4-litre twin-turbo V8 puts out 639 horsepower. Yeah, 4 more. However, it's got way more torque. 900 newton meters. It's a right bruiser, this thing. Believe it or not, even though this Panamera has a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 that's boosted by an electric motor, it still has slightly less torque than that mental AMG. It delivers 870 newton meters. However, with a combined output of 700 horsepower, the Porker is the most powerful car here. Question is, does this Panamera sound powerful? Let's find out. Let's start it up and give it some revs. Ooh. Oh. Well, it sounds quite good and burbly when it's stationary, but obviously it's got a soft limiter, so you can't rev it out and just enjoy the noise unless you're driving along. I know this RS6 will have a soft limiter as well, but hopefully not quite as soft as that Porsche is. Start it up, let's hear it. Oh, that's the... Oh, it's a valve shut in the exhaust. Is it open now? Yeah, it's open. Go on, rev it. Yeah, that's enough. We get the idea. I do think it sounds slightly better than that Porsche. Not amazing, but better than that. Right, what's the AMG got to say for itself with its twin fake exhaust tips? Well, actually quad, because there's 2 more over the other side. Though inside, look, it's just a single actual exhaust pipe. Baking buggers. Anyway, let's hear it. Oh! That is enough. Without a doubt, right? Sounds better than those other 2 cars. Way, way better. I forgive the fake tips now. Forgive them, sort of. Finally then we come to the M5. So this CS version has some nicer exhaust tips there. They are slight exaggerations, not as bad as the AMG, but yeah, a little bit bigger. Let's hear the car anyway. Come on, rev it up. It has got a semi-soft limiter, or should that be semi-hard? It's got a semi. Anyway, enough innuendos. Which do you think sounded the best out of these 4 cars? We'll put a pin comment. We want you to vote which one you preferred the sound of. Let us know. I'm going with the AMG. Now let's compare these cars' prices. So they start from this much. Now if you want to see how much money you can save on a new car, just click on the pop-out banner up there to get a CarWow. Alternatively, if you want to do that after you've watched this video, just simply Google "Help Me CarWow." My team and I will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted dealers. Now let's compare these cars' designs, starting with their side profiles. So obviously the M5 CS is based on the 5 Series, but you've got widened wheel arches, you've got a carbon fibre roof. But being the CS, you get bits of gold, and these gold wheels, 20 inches, and brake calipers. Moving to the Audi, once again based on an A6 Avant, widened wheel arches, aggressive 22-inch alloy wheels. It's a carbon trim on this because it's the carbon pack edition. Now you can only get this as an estate, you can only get the BMW as a saloon, but they are based on normal everyday models. Not this AMG, you can only get it in this shape, but you can't get it as a Mercedes. It is AMG only, and it looks pretty badass. We've got 21-inch alloy wheels on this car. It's just so muscular and has so much presence. I really like the look of this thing. Moving to the Porsche, you can get this as a hatchback rather than this estate, but this version is cooler because fast estates for the win, right? Now let's compare these cars from the rear. So this Porsche has a nice booty. Doesn't try too hard. Though I'm not so sure about this day glow lettering around the Panamera Turbo S. AMG's well in your face. Look at that. Huge wing, big diffuser, though I'm not sure how much it actually diffuses. And for those who think this is fake, actually there's some vents in there and in the wheel arch, so who knows? Moving on to the Audi. Yeah, it's a nice looking thing, this. Clear RS badging. It's an estate, it's practical. Yeah, it looks mean, and being the carbon black, you have carbon here. Though it doesn't have as much carbon on it as this M5 CS. So you got this exaggerated bootlit spoiler, which is bigger than on the normal M5, and it's carbon here, and there's carbon here as well. Then you've got some gold M5 CS badging there. Though it's not really gold, is it, that? Finally, let's check them out from the front. So here on the BMW, there's more gold, not gold, and carbon down here, and carbon for the bonnet as well. This CS version actually sits lower to the ground than the normal M5, which is lower to the ground than a normal 5 Series, obviously. Same story with the Audi, lower than the normal A6, and then you've got all this RS aggressive front nuss, and carbon here because carbon black. Mercedes, it just looks so badass, isn't it? And a big Mercedes badge there that says, I've got some money. Then finally the Porsche. Yeah, it doesn't try too hard, it's a Porsche. Though being the range-topping Turbo S e-hybrid, it has a slightly more aggressive low grille than the lesser versions of the Panamera. Anyhow, which car overall looks the best? Well, to decide, I'm gonna get the team to run and stand next to the car they like the most. Come on, I'm gonna do the same. Right, okay, so only one for the Porsche, 2 for the Mercedes AMG, 2 for the Audi, and 2 for the BMW. So cameraman Lewis has the deciding vote. Which of these cars do you like best?
RS6.
RS6. So overall, 3 votes for the RS6. It wins. It is the best looking. However, is that really that important for these cars? Well, I think it is, but so too is what they like to drive. So let's compare them on a twisty road now. Let's start off driving the Porsche. After all, Porsches supposed to be sporty, right? I'll tell you, this thing has some pickup. Oof, absolute monster. That 4-wheel drive system just puts down the power, and there's no turbo lag because you've got that assistance from the electric motors. Thing is, you can feel some of the weight from the batteries. They do add weight to this car. So even though it turns in really sharply into a corner on tighter ones, or if you end up going quite quickly, you notice the car's weight, you really do. But it does a really good job of just holding on. You've got Porsche torque vectoring, which is effectively a limited slip differential over the rear axle, which puts the power to the wheel with the most grip to help drive you out of turns. It does give this car a really nice, sporty, yet precise feel. It's a big old thing, this, but it does off go around this twisty course really well. I like the feel of Porsche's steering. It's got a nice weight to it. It's not got bags of feedback, but it's precise. And the brakes, you get regen under braking, so I'm charging up the battery, but it doesn't feel too artificial. Occasionally just a bit springy, but the trade-off is that I can just put this car into like a comfort setting, go into electric only mode, and it'll just cruise along up to 80 miles an hour, electric power alone, for like 30 miles. Not 30 miles at 80 miles an hour though, you're not gonna get that. And actually, when you are just cruising along in this car, it's really comfy, it's really quiet, very nice and easy to live with. It's just rather wide if you're driving through town or down a narrow road. Still impressive. Let's move on to the next car. Now I've jumped into the Audi. Can it be more fun to drive than the Porsche? Now, old RS6s weren't, but they've really improved this one. It doesn't feel quite as tied down as the Porsche, but you can sort of manhandle it a little bit more. I feel more confident going quickly in it, and it does grip really well. Whee! Lift off a bit. And it will move around, and like other older RS6s, we're just understeered like crazy. You've got a diff on the back like in the Porsche, so it can send power to the rear wheel with the most grip, so you get good traction out of corners. The steering's pretty sharp. This has air suspension like the Porsche has, but I had an RS6 which had the upgraded sport suspension, which has coil springs and adaptive dampers, and I think that car setup is slightly firmer and sportier, and it drives better and is more fun. In fact, I think with that upgraded suspension, it's better to drive and more agile than the Porsche. This one, not quite so precise, but I'm having a little bit more fun. Now that I want to back off though, let's just put it into comfort mode. Oh yeah, it's relaxing. In fact, this RS6, there's something about it, it's got real dual personality. It could just be a normal A6 when you're tootling around, but then when you put your foot down, yeah, it takes off. Remember, you've got a V8. Though that did just highlight one weakness of this car. So the Porsche, it's got a dual clutch automatic gearbox and it's responsive. It's just so quick and the changes are like bang, bang, bang. This, a little bit of a delay. Now it's time for the AMG and oh yes, feels like more of a beast than the Audi. Really impressed by the steering. It's got a great meaty feel to it. It's precise, nicer than the Porsche, nicer than in the Audi. And even though this is a big car like the Porsche, it feels a little bit easier to chuck around, and it does move around. Whoop. Has a rear bias feel to it, this thing. Once again, diff on the rear. Gearbox is good, not quite as good as the Porsches, better than the Audis. And this engine, the sound from it, it's just so aggressive. And you put your foot down, you can feel the tyres just scrabbling for grip. There's so much pulling power. It's such a thing, this. Right on air suspension, but with the kind of sport setting, it's really quite firm, but in a good way. Doesn't roll around as much as the Porsche, and definitely not as much as the Audi. Much more planted. Now let's just back it off a bit. Back it off, let's go for some comfort. Can it do comfort? Not as comfy as the Audi or the Porsche when you're just cruising around, but not uncomfortable. And the gearbox is smooth enough when you're just chilling. I like this. Very aggressive, yet calm enough until you want it to rip your face off. Like it. Finally then, I'm in the BMW and I'm expecting a lot. This has competition coilover suspension. It's got the adaptive dampers from the M8. You've also got stiffer engine mounts. The car's got a 7mm drop in ride height over the standard M5. Oh, got less insulation. Seems rawer. And oh my God, this is like other level compared to the other three cars. I thought the AMG was sporty feeling. This though, it's mad. Honestly, this is nuts. I'm liking this way more than I thought I ever would. And I drove the normal M5 competition not so long ago, and this is such a different beast, even though the changes aren't really all that massive on paper. The stiffer suspension's obviously just making it just feel more responsive, more connected, more planted. They've done a brilliant job, I love it. It's got a hard edge to it though, easily the best handling car. Let's dial it back, let's be sensible, chill out a bit. It can still do that, it can still chill. It's noisier though, I think, to just cruise around in than the others. A little bit more focused, a little bit more wearing if you're going on a longer journey, a bit more compromised. But if you want to have a hoon, this is the one to go for. However, it is a lot of money, isn't it? So what I've done, if you click on that pop-out button up there, I've chosen a really practical car that's also fun to drive and great value for money through CarWow. Click on the link, go check out what it is and see what the saving is as well. I really like that car, by the way. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's going to be a surprise. Another thing that makes this BMW so involving to drive are these carbon fibre bucket seats, which come from the M3, where they're optional there. Also, you've got Alcantara on the steering wheel, you've got the carbon fibre shift paddles like on the M3, and your M1 and M2 buttons, so you can quickly access whatever mode you want. You've got some CS badging there, red stitching. It's all very ME and Alcantara headlining, and it feels quality, this thing feels quality. It's nice inside. The Audi doesn't have quite the trinkets that you get inside the BMW. The sport seats, they're nice enough, but they're nothing compared to those in the M5. The design though, it's just a little less haphazard and cluttered. It's just cleaner and smoother, and you can get some carbony bits as well, like this. Quality-wise though, the BMW does just have the edge. Really though, if it's the most expensive feeling car that you want, it's the Porsche. The feel of the materials is just exquisite. The design is cool, minimalist, but not overly so. Great layout of the dials and an analog rev counter like that. Steering wheel's nice, and you got this dial here to switch between different driving modes. This AMG doesn't quite have the quality feel of the Porsche, and certain bits feel actually very, very cheap. Like this button here, ugh, that's not really nice, and that in there, no, not very nice. The rest of it is good though. Quite like the seats, steering wheel, Alcantara, flat bottom, looks cool, easy to use, and you've got these dials here and buttons to go between different driving modes. I particularly like this bit though, the center console. Can you see those little bits there? That's eight banks, like the V8. So what that's for, really, if you want the most showy interior, this is your car. And speaking about being showy, let's have some fun. If you want to do donuts in this AMG, you can put it into drift mode, which decouples the front axle, sends all the power to the rear, and to do that you want to go into race mode. You then need to put the gearbox into manual mode, stability all the way off, press and hold the button, there we go. Pull up on both pedals, then confirm that you want drift mode, which I've just done. Let's skid about. Might go the other way to give the tyres on the one side a chance, and then you really can just control so much of what you want to do and where you want to go with it. Back the other way. Give the other tyres a bit of a workout. Hey, hello cameraman. I love this thing. Now this Porsche doesn't have the ability to go into a rear wheel drive only mode like the AMG, but it's got plenty of power. It's a Porsche as well. I can turn stability all the way off. Can I do anything? Not much room to manoeuvre. Let's try it anyway. Nervous. And I'm nervous not only of crashing but humiliating myself. Oh, it will do it a bit. Whoa, it's quite strange actually. Let's go the other way. It's like really chewing at the tarmac. I'm feeling very sorry for these tyres. It's just Porsches for you. Even when they're sensible. They're so much fun. I'm impressed. Right, RS6. Now I'm going to get my excuses in early with this one. So Audis are more known for their understeer than oversteer, though you can slide these RS6s because I had one of my own and I did sometimes do that, but you'd need quite a big area to get up some speed and bung it in, which I don't have here. Oh, it sort of does it. Oh, those poor tyres. Let's go the other way. It's just a case of slam it down and it's not really drifting, I'm just going around in circles. Oh, right, that's enough of that. I feel sorry for the tyres. You can just imagine them folding under the alloy. It sort of slid a bit, but I bet it didn't look pretty. Let me know if it was ugly in the comments. But like I said, don't hate me too much. Don't hate on me. Back to the good stuff now with the BMW, because like the AMG, it has a switchable all-wheel drive system. To engage it, stability all the way off. Then I can configure the four-wheel drive system, put it into two-wheel drive mode. And there should be no need for any excuses this time. Basically, if I can't slide it around, I'm crap. That's more like it. So good. Let's go this way a bit, even up the tyres. Oh yeah, this is the one! What a lovely thing. I think I've messed my shorts, but in a good way. If you're going to drive like an idiot, you need some good brakes, and this car has some. So you get carbon ceramics as standard, plus they're 399mm disc up front, gripped by 6-piston calipers. You've got 380mm disc at the back as well. It's impressive. This car as well, it's 70 kilos lighter than the standard M5. Weighs in at 1,825 kilos. So how do the brakes and the weight affect this car's stopping performance? Let's find out. Now let's do a brake test from 70 miles an hour in the BMW M5 CS. Right, here we go. Full emergency stop. That's only reading from 17, what is it? 70 to 0, 41 meters. Decent. Can I do better? Let's try again. Gosh, that makes me feel sick. Oh yeah. 40 meters. It's pretty good. Moving on to the AMG. So as standard, you get steel brakes with 390mm discs up front, gripped by 6-piston calipers, and 360mm discs at the back. This car though has the upgraded carbon ceramics. How will that affect the braking performance? Speaking of which, it's a heavy car this, 2,120 kilos. Let's find out. Right, let's do a brake test from 70 miles an hour in the AMG. What are we gonna do, AMG? Now you're a heavy old lump. Let's get to 70, let's cruise along. Here we go. Oh, 46 meters. I'm gonna definitely give it another go. Okay, second brake test. Let's do this. Full emergency stop coming up. Oh, look, we stopped from 70 miles an hour in 43 meters. That's better. Next up, the Audi. So it has 420mm discs up front, gripped by 10 piston calipers. How do they fit 10 pistons in there? At the back, you've got 370mm discs. This car has the standard steel brakes, but you can upgrade to common ceramics if you want to. As for the weight, 2,075 kilos. Let's do it. Let's see how long it takes to stop when I slam on and do a full emergency brake. Let's have a look. Here we go. What are you gonna do? Hey! Ooh, decent distance that. 41 meters to stop from 70 miles an hour. I'm impressed. Let's try again anyway. I don't really want to do another brake test because there is a chance I'll actually do worse. I suppose I better. Let's go for it. Get to 70. Full emergency stop coming now. Oh, I could do worse. Oh look, I did. 43 meters. Wish I hadn't done that. Finally, we come to the Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid, and it has common ceramics as standard. 420mm discs up front, gripped by 10 piston calipers, 410mm discs at the back. It's going to need them though because this car is heavy. Weighs in at 2,400 kilos. So porky by name and porky by nature. How's that going to affect its stopping ability? Right, let's do a brake test from 70 miles an hour, full emergency stop in this Porsche. It's a bit of a heavy bugger. What's it going to do? See how long it takes to stop. Go to 70. Full emergency stop now. The ABS going. Oh, not too bad. Stopped in 42 meters. Let's give it another go though. Okay, here we go again. Oh, lots of air again. Oh, that was bad. Look, stop from 70 in 40 meters. That was an improvement. That is impressive for such a heavy car. If you need to stop, you absolutely can, and it stopped so well. But that's Porsches for you. They've got great brakes. Let's move on to practicality because it does matter for these cars. So this is the boot capacity of the Porsche. So it has less than the standard Panamera because you've got batteries under there, and this necessary charging cable does take up some space. Easy to load though because this lift back tailgate. And as for the back seats, nice and spacious. The only problem is that there's a big hump in the floor, so it's awkward if you have to carry 3 people at once, have to straddle that. Moving on to the AMG, its boot has this much capacity, so it's larger in volume than the Porsches, though this big boot lip is a bit annoying when you're lifting things over. Back seats, not quite as roomy feeling as the Porsche, and this version, it's only got 2 rear seats, but you can get a 3-seater in the back, so it's pretty good. Moving on to the BMW, its boot capacity is this much, so bigger than the other 2 cars. There being a saloon, it's harder to load big items. As for the back seats, lots of room in terms of like headroom and knee room. Problem is you've got sporty back seats, which while they look cool, sort of make you feel a bit hunched. And it's only a 2-seater in the back, that's it. Most practical is the Audi. So this estate car has this much load capacity, no load lip, it's easy to just chuck stuff in, and the back seats, super roomy, loads and loads of space. It is the most practical car here. Some people say I can be a bit immature when I'm reviewing cars, but I'm going to prove them wrong with some serious motoring journalism. I'm going to critique these cars' names because that's obviously really important. You see, Mercedes couldn't really be bothered with the AMG. It's called the GT 4-door. 4-door? Is that it? Then there's the Porsche, where they just couldn't stop adding names. Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid. Just shut up. It doesn't need to have such a long name. Then there's the BMW M5, that's good. But then CS, they've named it after a gas used for crowd control. Finally, the Audi, the RS6, or if you say it quickly, R6. Now, if you enjoy this kind of serious journalism, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Anyway, let's crack on and launch these cars, starting with the R6. So this car has just come up with a load of faults. We had it parked on a bank and it didn't seem to like it. And look, it just thinks there's something wrong with itself. Like wheels coming loose, suspension fault, drivetrain fault. It's lost its mind. But we need to carry on with the show. Let's see if we can do a time. Hopefully it's not going to affect anything. So this Audi is supposed to do 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. Let's find out the truth with the specialist timing gear. Here we go, 3.77, that's all right, I'm all right. What's the quarter mile? Yeah, 11.95. Whoa. I'm pretty sure we can do better than that. Okay, for this second launch, I'm going to try it with the stability in sports mode, see if that helps. Let's build up the boost. Wow, yes, more like it. Don't know why I went all Cockney. If you're not from the UK, Google Cockney. Don't know what I'm talking about. There we go, that's better. 11.70 for the quarter mile. That's more acceptable, isn't it? Still not amazing, but better. I don't think all those warning lights really made any difference. Actually, have they gone? Oh look, they've gone. All it needed was a jolly good thrashing. And it's fixed itself. Brilliant. Cars, they can be temperamental. This big Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid is supposed to do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, but we'll see what the specialist timing gear has to say about that. Dead easy to do in Porsches, just turn the knob, get Sport Plus. Don't actually need to be in Sport Plus, can be in Sport. Left foot brake, floor it. Here we go. That is good, that is very good. 3.21, woo! What's the quarter mile? What's it gonna be? 11.27. Oh, let's brake, let's brake, let's brake. Decent numbers, 3.21 to 60 and 11.27 quarter mile. Give it another go though. Let's go again. Yeah, it was. 3.13. How about the quarter mile? Yeah, bit better, bit better. Not by loads, but I'll take that. Slight improvement. This AMG is supposed to do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, but the specialist timing gear will reveal what the reality is. Got it in race mode, normal traction. Let's do it. Left foot brake, floor throttle, race start. Struggling for grip. It's brutal, this thing. 0 to 60 in 3.44. What's the quarter mile? 11.59. Really was struggling for grip. And the car thought I was going to have an accident. Tightened the seatbelt, held me in place. I reckon we can do better than that, and I'm going to put the stability in sport mode, so it might slip a bit more, and so the engine will just not bog down. Let's see if we can do better. Yeah, it was. 3.26, that's more like it. Quarter mile, what we got, what we got, what we got? I sense a better time. Yeah, 11.37. It's a better time. Redeemed itself. This BMW M5 CS is supposed to do 0 to 60 in just 3.3 seconds. But what will it really do? So I'm going to launch it. To do that, you have to have the stability control all the way off. I'm going to have the four-wheel drive in just normal mode, equal split front and rear. Let's find out. Launch ready. Oh, that's brutal. Ah, that's quick. 0 to 60, 2.96. What's the quarter mile going to be? Quarter mile is 10.94. It's a monster, this thing. I think I want to try it again though. What will it do when I put the four-wheel drive into four-wheel drive sport? Now it's going to be rear drive biased. Can I get a better time? Second time lucky? Felt the same. It's pretty much identical. Oh no! A 10.93 for the quarter mile. It's quick. So then, what's my final verdict? Well, all of these cars are really good. So I'll give you them in my order of preference, starting with my least favourite, which is the Porsche. I mean, it's a great car, it's just a little bit heavy and rather expensive. Next, Audi RS6, brilliant all-rounder, just lacks a sense of occasion, which you do get with the AMG GT four-door. It's absolutely bombastic and great fun to drive, but not as fun as this BMW M5 CS. What BMW have done with this thing to improve it over the normal M5 is incredible. It's like a GT racing car with space for 4 people and all their stuff. Brilliant. I love it. So much fun. And that's why it wins this test. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Also, let me know of any other videos you'd like me to do in the comments below. If you click there, you can watch some more videos, and if you click on that box there, you can actually sign up to the CarWow newsletter, where we'll keep you up to date of all the latest news and reviews from the car world in between these video uploads. So just click on that, sign up, it's completely free, and of course you can cancel anytime you want to. Thanks for watching, see you next time.